Benjamin Solomon Carson Sr. was born in Detroit, Michigan on September 18, 1951. His parents were Robert Solomon Carson Jr. and Sonia Carson. Carson's family was very poor, but by the time he turned 9, their financial situation had improved. He attended the predominantly black Southwestern High School for grades 9 through 12 and graduated third in his class academically. In his book, Gifted Hands, Carson relates that as a youth, he had a violent temper. He said, as a teenager, I would go after people with rocks and bricks and baseball bats and hammers. Carson's SAT college admission test scores ranked him somewhere in the low 90th percentile. He wanted to attend a college further away from his brother, who attended the University of Michigan. Carson was accepted by Yale and offered a full scholarship that would cover his tuition, room, and board. In 1973, he graduated with a BA in psychology from Yale with a fairly respectable GPA, although far from the top of his class. What led Carson to decide that he wanted to be a doctor was a missionary sermon he heard and how he felt he wanted to be the one helping people. Carson entered the University of Michigan Medical School in 1973, and at first he struggled academically, doing so poorly on his first set of exams that his advisor told him to drop out of medical school or take a reduced academic load and longer time to finish. He continued with the regular academic load, and his grades began to improve to average for his first year. In his second year of med school, Carson began to excel academically by seldom attending lectures, and instead he studied books and the lecture notes. Carson graduated from the University of Michigan Medical School with an MD degree in 1997. Carson was then accepted by Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine neurosurgery program, where he served 1 year as a neurosurgery resident. Upon completing the final year as chief resident in 1983, he then spent 1 year, 1983 to 1984, as a senior registered in neurosurgery at the Sir Charles Gardner Hospital in Nedlands, a suburb of Perth, Western Australia. Upon returning to Johns Hopkins in 1984, Carson was appointed the university's director of pediatric neurosurgery. As a surgeon, he specialized in traumatic brain injuries, brain and spinal cord tumors, epilepsy, and so much more. He has said that his hand-eye coordination and three-dimensional reasoning made him a gifted surgeon. In 1987, Carson was the lead neurosurgeon of a 70-member surgical team that separated conjoined twins Patrick and Benjamin Binder, who had been joined at the back of the head. The separation surgery held promise in part because the twin boys had separate brains. The Johns Hopkins Children's Center surgical team rehearsed the surgery for weeks, practicing on 2 dolls that were secured together by Velcro. There were lots of follow-up stories about the Binder twins after the surgery and how they went to Germany after 7 months of the separation. Both had been reportedly far from normal 2 years after the procedure, with one in a vegetable state. The Binder surgery served as a blueprint for similar twin separations, a procedure that was refined in subsequent decades. Carson participated in 4 subsequent high-risk conjoined twin separations, including a 1997 operation on craniopagus Zambian twins Joseph and Luca Banda, which resulted in a normal neurological outcome. According to the Washington Post, the Binder surgery launched the stardom of Carson, who walked out of the operating room that day into a spotlight that has never dimmed, beginning with the press conference that was covered worldwide and created name recognition, leading to publishing deals and a motivational speaking career. In March of 2013, Carson announced he would retire as a surgeon, saying he would much rather quit when I'm at the top of my game. His retirement became official on July 1st, 2013. And something I would like to add is while at Johns Hopkins, Carson figured in the revival of the hemispherectomy, a drastic surgical procedure in which part or all of one hemisphere of the brains is removed to to control the condition of severe pediatric epilepsy. He was encouraged by John N. Freeman, and with this encouragement, Carson refined the procedure in the 1980s and performed it many times, even one successful one where he did a hemispherectomy on a child that was still in the mother's womb. In the 2016 presidential campaign, Carson had been registered as a Republican, changed his registration to independent in the 1990s after watching Republicans impeach President Clinton for the perjury in the affair he had with Monica Lewinsky. On May 2nd, 2015, Carson proclaimed that in 2 days he was going to make a major announcement on his decision on whether to enter the presidential race. In an interview with Cincinnati station WKRC-TV on May 3, 2015, he accidentally confirmed his candidacy for president. The next day in his hometown, Detroit, he officially announced his presidency for the Republican nomination in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. In October 2015, it was noted that Carson's improbable political career had surged in polls and fundraising while he continued to participate in nationally televised Republican debates. The campaign brought considerable attention to Carson's past. CNN characterized the core narrative as acts of violence as an angry young man, followed by a spiritual epiphany that transformed Carson into the composed figure he now proposed. Media challenges to a number of Carson's statements included allegations of discrepancies between documented facts and certain omissions in his autobiography, Gifted Hands. But he shut those allegations down by saying the media was just on a witch hunt. In November of 2015, the Detroit Free Press republished an article from 1988 to try to get Carson's credibility back, but it really didn't help him a lot. On March 2nd, Carson announced that he did not see a political path forward and would not attend the next Republican debate that would be in his hometown, Detroit. And he officially withdrew from the presidential race on March 4th. A week after he ended his presidential campaign, he enclosed with Trump, and after Trump won the 2016 presidential election, Carson was appointed to Trump's Trump's vice chairman, and while doing that, on January 25, 2017, he was appointed by the Senate as the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development.